Hey, it's Kevin. Thank you so much for coming by for another No BS social media chat. Last week we touched on what's changed or what hasn't changed in the world of social media in the last few years. And the one topic I mentioned that we'd talk about this week is about people, is about connecting people. And you know, going back to the original, what we're 180 plus episodes in, so week in and week out for 180 weeks for what, 3.5 years now? I think in November we'll come up on our 4th anniversary of doing these. When I look at topics each and every week, it's funny where I don't want to say I struggle for a topic, but I struggle because, well, there's not a lot new that needs to be said, especially when you're a beginning or an intermediate social media user. It's truly about understanding the connections. The other day I was talking with a company who uses some big social media analytics company out of Boston or something like that, and oh my gosh, the wonderful things they've done for these particular music artists, and these are platinum selling artists. I'm like, yeah, but what's the cost to you per month? And the cost was pretty huge. I'm like, wow, I can make a decent living on that. Of course, now they've got probably a 20, 30 person staff, and they're working more on behind the scenes stuff, working on, well, computer software. You know, when I was quoting somebody an app the other day, trying to get an app developed for a company, the company was like, well, what's your budget, $100,000? They didn't even blink. It's like, well, I'd love to do $5,000 if possible. I'm sure it's possible, but they don't want to deal with projects that small. Well, the same thing with social media. There are ways to look at social media and go, okay, the more money you put to something, maybe the quicker you'll grow, and there's some truth to that. But at the end of the day, if you're really looking to use social media, the power of social media, and the reason I moved from the radio business to the social media business a decade ago, it's about connecting with people. At the end of the day, social media is about building a bond between you and the friend, the fan, the follower. Now, here's the difference. If you're Taylor Swift and you got, I don't even know what she has, 17 million Twitter followers, 15 million Facebook, I have no clue. I mean, it could be 50 million for all I know. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Are you really building a connection back and forth with 50 million, with 17 million, with a million people? No, you're not. But as you're just getting started out, as you're trying to grow that Facebook page, as you're trying to grow your Twitter fan base, as you're trying to grow the video views on YouTube, as you're trying to build more followers, more connections on Instagram, the big key is really about connecting with people. It's about replying to comments. It's about interacting. It's about giving them content so they get a little better piece of who you are, so they understand who you are, and they can then become part of the process. And really, I know it's tough to be naked like that, if you will, to expose yourself out there. You know, years ago when I was in radio, they always said the more you let people know about you as a person, the better a personality you'd be. And I struggled with that for a long time because I didn't think me as a person was interesting. I didn't think the interest I had would necessarily be shared by the audience I was working with. I mean, here I was, you know, a guy working in country music, and the first concert I ever attended was Parliament Funkadelic. So I wasn't a true, grew up in the country, wore cowboy boots and cowboy hat, worked on a farm kind of guy. I was a big city kid who fell into a job in country music, came to love it, came to be a fan of it, came to respect and understand the history. But at the end of the day, I was still a pop and rock guy. So it was kind of tough to share that with my listeners, to share that experience with them. It's easier now when you're in your 50s, when you can talk about meeting Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty and Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings and all the big stars, and then you got something to talk about. Back in the day, not so much. But I think allowing people to get a piece of what makes you tick, about understanding where you come from, what you're about, what your hobbies, what your experiences, what your loves are, helps you build a bond. And again, you're doing that bond even though you may have 20,000 people or 50,000 people or 100,000 people, whatever it is, looking at that particular Facebook post, that tweet, that YouTube video, whatever it is, or heck, it could just be even a couple hundred if you're not so lucky, but you are. Because if you can build a connection with 100 people or 1,000 people or 10,000 people who feel like they've got a bond with you one-on-one, you've been able to do a lot. And that's the one thing I identified with social media when I left radio. With radio, you're talking to a microphone. You don't normally get to see the people you're talking with. Maybe when you go out and you do a live broadcast, maybe when you meet them at a concert, maybe when you meet them at an event, sure, you can shake hands and say hello to them. But when you're doing your job, when you're connecting with them, like I'm connecting with you right now, as I stare into this camera, I'm talking to you. I'm envisioning you. Now, you could be 1 or 10 or 100 or 1,000 people or whatever the number is. It doesn't matter. I'm looking to connect with you and you alone. The more yous that you connect with, the better off you are. Well, that's social media. And I understood that, and I saw that, and I went, wow, the power of social media to be able to do that much better than what radio or even TV could do it, because it wasn't quite the same. And now we've got the power of that in our computer, in our tablet, in our telephone, right there with us all the time. The ability to connect with people all over the world, one-on-one, on their terms, on your terms, Man, that's powerful. People, and I guess, well, it's like that old, what is a Barbra Streisand song? People who need people. There's kind of some truth to that. At the end of the day, this is about people. It's not about the tools. It's not about the sites. It's about people connecting with people. So when you go and tweet, when you go and put a YouTube video together, think about the people you're connecting with. Think about the people you want to connect with. Let's get it done. Back next week, another No BS social media chat. NoBSSocial.com, the website to find all 180 plus episodes of our chats as well. Find them on Facebook, find them on YouTube. Again, wherever you found us this week, I invite you to come back again next week because we'll be right here waiting for you. If you want to reach out, if you really want to find out more, again, at no charge to you, just to talk, it's real simple. Email address, phone number, all coming up. Love to chat. I love social media. Want to help you get better at it. Thanks.